Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good morning for the attendees joining from the West Coast, and good afternoon for the Central and the East Coast attendees here. We'll give it another couple of minutes before we take off. I hope everybody can hear me. And if you cannot, please let us know through the chat. And looking forward to this webinar here. As the attendees are joining in here, we're waiting for another few seconds before we really kick off. Welcome, everybody. Thanks. Appreciate your time. I guess we're down to 87 attendees and up to 87, 86. So, okay. All right. So welcome, everybody. Good morning to attendees from the West Coast and the East Coast and the Central time zones. Here, we appreciate time at Energy Solutions and Supplies. We strive to be the best long-term partner in the solar and energy industry, energy storage industry. We are a national wholesale distributor. We lead with services, and we want to be your trusted advisors. And by being and also want to be an extension of your purchasing department, right? So in the pursuit of being a trusted advisor, we do organize campaigns where we organize campaigns on a regular basis to learn from each other, from the industry stakeholders, and as part of that process, we are organizing a webinar to learn and from you all, from all the attendees here, on what are the common challenges that we face in the commercial installation, commercial inverter installation for the commercial solar systems. And so without any further ado, I would like to welcome our expert for the day to talk about the inverter and its applications in the commercial solar PV systems and the challenges we're facing, the best practices we're seeing out there, and how can we address those. Right. So welcome, Solis team, Tiffany, Al, and we potentially have engineering support team also from Solis here.
Hi, Lek. Well, thank you for the opportunity to present here Solis inverters and the challenges in the industry that we currently face. These are unique times, so thanks everyone for taking the time. My name is Al Dela Cruz, Regional Sales Manager of Solis. I have Igor Muglevsky and Tiffany Bly here as well from Solis. So I'll let Igor introduce himself. Thanks, Igor, for making it, and then we'll let Tiffany get rolling.
Hi, Al. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, Igor Mogilevsky. I'm Product Solution Director of Engineering for Solis US. I've been in the industry since 2008, and basically was in charge of several companies' development and engineering, and been through from microinverter covered all the way to large central inverters. And yeah, be happy to provide you any answers from my previous experiences, current experiences as well. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Igor and Al, for joining me as well. These wonderful gentlemen will help me if you guys have questions in the chat while I'm presenting as well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. Thank you, Energy Solutions, for having us to discuss overcoming challenges in commercial solar. We're excited to be here. Again, we're Solis. We're the world's largest string inverter supplier. That's based on Wood Mackenzie shipment data globally. So we're very proud of that distinction of being a global leader in the solar string inverter technology space. So again, you all are on mute, but do please interact with us, put questions that you have in the chat. We'll try our best to answer them throughout the presentation, or if you're looking for anything like data sheets, things like that, my team will help support there. And then we will also have a Q&A period at the end. So we'll go back to the chat and anything that wasn't addressed or answered, we'd be happy, we're gonna revisit those to make sure you're taken care of. So some of our objectives today is, of course, first, like we talked about, an overview of challenges. We have market challenges, project challenges, kind of, it's a challenging marketplace in general. So we're going to go in through those in depth and in detail as well, based on feedback we've received from you, as well as Energy Solutions from their customers. And then we're going to talk about how we can power through some of these challenges, whether they're through the marketplace or technology space, how we can help solve for these challenges, either through our equipment, feature set, things like that, that can help apply solutions to basically solving a lot of these problems. And then I'm going to kick it over to Lek to talk a little bit more in detail about Energy Solutions in case you guys aren't familiar, and then we'll jump into the Q&A. So as we talk through challenges, as we all know, it's been a really rough year. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what's going on in the market. We have a rough start to 2025 and a really uncertain future. Even last year, for example, Wood Mackenzie in the U.S. Solar Market Insight report said projects, across all segments, we're seeing a downturn and facing challenges that really go beyond even the technological viability and cost competitiveness or availability at that rate. So we're seeing high interest rates, all the federal and state policy volatility that we're having in the marketplace, and uncertainty is creating uncertainty with our customer base. Commercial businesses are being hesitant in taking action and in building a commercial solar portfolio. So it's really posing challenges. A lot of these market headwinds, the trade policy uncertainty and the tariffs, for example, are posing challenges for not understanding pricing consistency or not knowing, when your product will get here and how much it's going to be at the time. So a lot of this uncertainty is causing just from a market perspective as well. And then increasing soft costs and hard costs overall. Labor is getting more expensive. Interest rates and inflation are causing, it's difficult to find quality labor and it's continuing to increase. Same thing with hard costs. Equipment costs are increasing as well. So these are a lot of marketplace things that are going on right now that unfortunately we don't have much control over, but I still believe and strongly believe, Solis does as well, that commercial solar is still heavily viable, even regardless of incentives. So with that, there's other challenges that you guys are also working with, unfortunately, when it comes to commercial solar that we're going to dive into. And we surveyed some of the participants of this webinar today to kind of get an idea of these pain points and to better understand our challenges. So first was noted as managing design complexity and site constraints. You guys are working with a variety of sites with limited roof space or awkward layouts, having to choose optimum inverter placement, working with string sizing and tools is really crucial. You have to meet NEC rapid shutdown, but also code compliance, a variety of interconnection rules and utility interconnection that you're working with. Difficulty optimizing for shaded or partially obstructed arrays. You have to manage installation and commissioning complexity, but ultimately saving time doing all of these things. So that's a crucial challenge that we're going to touch on today. as well as maximizing uptime while streamlining O&M. So, you lose revenue when it comes to downtime, and having poor quality product can impact that, but there's several other things that we're going to get into that also could impact that. There's high cost and time maintenance of truck rolls. There's a lack of remote visibility and diagnostics on the marketplace, as well as, you guys have to be concerned with maintaining system uptime while, also making sure the site is well optimized, operated, and maintained to continue proper uptime and energy yields. So to that point, also local service and support is really key there as well. You need to save time, money, and deliver on project ROI. So customer expectations are, optimum ROI, but also extremely cost effective. So for you guys in working with these customers, you really need to have competitive bids that aren't driving down your margins, while also being able to hit high energy yield targets or expectations of customers. You can't really work with unpredictable BOS or labor costs, the high upfront costs of a lot of these projects, and electrical system upgrades that may need to be done. Again, it's working within that certainty and trying to address a lot of these challenges that you guys have in developing these projects, especially even too when it comes to cost of engineering and design. Experiencing potential redesign fees for complex projects and increasing the overall cost for the customer. And then, of course, as we've talked throughout, the customer is the most important, right? But as a commercial solar installer, you meet diverse customer needs. So not every rooftop, carport, or ground mount is going to be the same. So you had to have flexibility for meeting these customer expectations, and they all have a different set of expectations they're coming to you with. They're also in different varying utilities and market requirements. Some, like Canada, there's some zero export requirements. So you have a diverse set of customers that you're serving that you need to have a way to meet all these expectations of all the different types of projects you're touching. Same thing with warranty, RMA, customer service plays into supporting that, as well as, of course, supply chain and pricing consistency and product availability. So first, of course, just in order to be more competitive, again, as we begin to shift focus more on commercial solar, we need to take action on each of these challenges and ensure we're implementing product that helps solve these challenges in order to be competitive and stand out and be able to help install more commercial solar. So we did survey the participants on what their best practices were. We were just curious of, how do you guys combat with some of these challenges? A lot of them were maximizing the size of the inverter in order to minimize hardware needs and costs. Customer support and long-term presence is something a lot of our participants were looking at when it comes to providers, highly reliable and dependable hardware, cost-competitive solutions, high DC-AC ratios to enhance flexibility, and then, of course, built-in string-level monitoring. But as we dive into the challenges, first, we're going to start with managing that complexity. How smart design can help, as well as flexible architecture can help minimize complexity and help at the forefront of design. So Solis products have a high short circuit current per MPPT. This enables more flexibility as well as 200% DC-AC ratios. So again, can have a lot more site flexibility. Low startup voltage also manages shorter strings. So again, you can be really flexible on how you're with those mismatched roof or regular rooftop orientations with partial shading, for example. Our products have multiple MPPTs, an array of MPPTs, as well as wide operating ranges, which also enhance that flexible stringing and design. We have something called global MPPT tracking for shade mitigation. That's a built-in software function that, again, helps pick out the best performing panel within a string. So ensuring better performance if there is some shade, minor shading. We have integrated rapid shutdown and shade cover options that come along with our products, as well as power classes all the way from 25 to 125 to really help fit any project in 228, 240 volt options that we'll dive into a little bit throughout the webinar. Also, in easing this challenge, you want to ensure installation and commissioning is relatively easy as well. So take advantage of UL 3741 by mounting within the array boundary when you can. That eliminates your BOS cost by eliminating rapid shutdown boxes. Huge advantage there. Also, Solis has wide cable and string combining, which helps with better conductor utilization and ensuring no combiner box is needed, again, eliminating some more BOS costs. The product itself is lightweight and compact, which you guys know from an installation perspective, just reduces the need for extra lifting equipment and labor, really speeding up that install process. The integrated DC switches and fuse protection that we have also helps with fewer external components, streamlining those balance of system costs as well. The app-based Wi-Fi and commissioning tools that we have ensures quick inverter setup, cuts down on being laptop configuration time, simplifies that parameter setup, as well as pre-configured grid settings. The pre-configured grid settings is great, so it supports, again, varying utility requirements that you may have and makes it easier to set up to the requirements. Integrated AFCI and SPD protection, again, enhances safety compliance and reduces the need for external protection devices. And then simple communications like RS-485, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet integration options, again, help commissioning teams verify inverter connectivity from day one, which helps once you're connected, you can manage all that complexity and ensure the inverter is performing as expected. Here's an example of flexibility in design with the independent MPPT zones. And again, the high short circuit current and low startup voltage, you can be a little bit flexible on how you design the system. We also partner, big industry partner Solis is, so it's, again, for enhancing that flexibility. Again, we want to make it easy for you to choose and empower your customers on pricing. So if they want MLPE, you could go with NEP, integrated transmitter, and an MLPE option. Or again, if they have to use rapid shutdown, you can't install on the roof. So again, we've got different SKUs for these different integrated transmitters to help enhance flexibility and just really customize what the customer needs. We also work with Foamware, which is a third-party supplier. If you're wanting data granularity or zero export capability, that's for zero export over 600 volts or 600 volts or higher. We also have an export power manager that manages that function with our inverters 480 and below. We also are great industry partners with other racking providers. So we're actively listed our whole commercial portfolio with several racking providers for UL 3741. So again, you can use who you want on different projects, and generally we can ensure listing compatibility. Also, communications flexibility. A lot of these sites, they want to use their own third-party platform, and we work with most of the leaders. So we try to make it easy having an open API platform and helping integrate using these great tools and making sure the inverter's reporting on our side. Also, maximizing uptime. So this challenge, of course, is not only that, but you have to streamline O&M in order to do that and then deliver that value for the customer. So from that perspective, is systems that perform longer. This is something unique to Solis in the wide operating voltage windows. Even under 10% loading, we're over 97% efficient. So again, these businesses can realize more energy and money per day on average because the inverter starts sooner and shuts down later in the day. Also, our integrated monitoring platforms, Solis Cloud, helps you stay efficient with intelligent system and fleet monitoring. So real-time data every 5 minutes, visualize and remotely control the system. We have remote ID curve tracing and really granular string level data. And you can create sub-organizations, so manage all your commercial sites from that perspective that are using Solis and ensure that you have predictive maintenance to help reduce your truck rolls and troubleshooting as well. So that's an effective tool. We have the seamless API integration. Again, we can provide that upon request to work with any other data platform that they're utilizing. And you can easily access and check the warranty status as well as conduct remote firmware updates. Ultimately, we want to help reduce your time on site because that not only streamlines O&M, but it helps keep uptime. We are very proud of leading the industry with an average wait time of 57 seconds. So again, 100% of our tickets are handled within 48 hours. We have on-site service calls and tickets that are expedited. So we have a great service team in the United States that will do on-site service calls if it's required. As well as native Spanish speakers. Really, it's again saving money by reducing time spent on issue resolution. We want to keep systems up and running. Again, means we enable the product with tools to help. And that includes a removable AC switch and separable wiring box in our smaller 1,000-volt platform, uses O&M, as well as integrated MC4s and a fuse-free design helps eliminate what's the word I'm looking for? Points of error. And just really helps limit maintenance. Integrated DC disconnects, so then you can resolve issues without shutting down the inverter on site, the entire inverter. You can actually maintain and work on an inverter without shutting down the site performance. Again, granular string level data, so you can help troubleshoot this issue before it becomes a problem. And then the direct MC4 connections, again, this fast, secure installation, but then also replacements and ongoing maintenance of the site. It makes it a lot easier and quicker to resolve or do RMAs, for example. So realizing ROI. So your customers have ROI expectations, right? So you need to have top of the line performance and have optimum returns so that they can realize their ROI faster. So you shouldn't be settling when it comes to yields in terms of product performance. So again, these low startup voltages is products that are working longer and thus yielding more, as well as supporting high powered bifacial modules. Again, these modules are more efficient. You have no power clipping. More power means faster ROI. Our inverters have high conversion efficiencies, greater savings in building revenue over time. We can reduce BOS costs, like we talked about the infield string combining in UL 3741. No issues before performance becomes effective with the string level data we have. But again, it's ultimately more energy, higher efficiency, cost-effective inverters mean better returns that are also built with the quality we expect. We also want to provide free tools to help you succeed. This keeps and streamlines O&M, which ultimately helps that ROI realization faster. So searchable alarm codes, we have commissioning on-site support, so we'll come out and help you commission a site, as well as in-depth product training, full library of warranty information, product documentation on this site, as well as application downloads and a video knowledge base. We have a string sizing tool on this site as well. Service and support contacts like we talked about in the US and in Canada, O&D files or PSCAD files if it's required. We have an RMA local stock as well as inventory in California. And then we can also offer some level of single line drawing and code support depending on the project. If you're really stumped, we're happy to help you, especially on those repowering projects that can get complicated. In terms of a quality provider, again, we are industry leading. 100% of our products burn-in tested. We don't use contract manufacturing. This is our facility on the right in China. We also have a smaller one in Vietnam. Because it's a fully automated facility, quality is really traced at the component level. So it's a fully robotic and automated manufacturing facility. We have extendable warranty options up to 25 years as well. A lot of this has resulted in our globally proven track record. And operating in over 100 countries, we have accolades from not only Wood Mackenzie as far as #3 in global shipments, but Bloomberg NEF as well as EUPD research for the past 10 consecutive years. Also, DNV report found that our useful life projections were top tier among our competitors. But ultimately, like we talked about, the biggest challenge is meeting all these different customers that you guys are servicing. So it's from a ground mount to carport, a gas station, a chicken farm. You guys have to not only meet customer needs, but you have to exceed expectations. And it's generally expected every time, right? So it's important to partner with a provider that can offer you a comprehensive platform to manage all these different sites. And so Solis, we're really proud that we have the most comprehensive portfolio on the marketplace. We have two products within 1,000-volt DC family that is 25 all the way up to 125 kilowatts. We also have a 30 kilowatt and a 60 kilowatt to a weight 240 volt product. And this wide product range also supports different voltages as well. So it's really flexible depending on 1,500 volt DC family from 125 to 185. The 125 is 600 volt, which is great for Canadian rooftops. We also, in the 250 to 350, we have an MC4 pigtail option, as well as ranging voltages. So the 250, 600 volt, as well as we've got a 690, which is great for repowering, as well as an 800 volt AC 350. So again, lots of variety in our product offering and many power classes to choose from. We're also very excited about the commercial hybrid that's coming out. So now we can even more further support commercial storage. This product's coming out at the end of August, and that will feature 60 kilowatt 48 volt AC as well as a 30 kilowatt 208 supporting high voltage batteries. So we're very excited about this product coming to market this year. Again, repowering is great in meeting these diverse customer set needs. These aging sites are going to need support, and Solis offers a great fit with wide voltage windows, like we said, flexible power classes. AC derating is supported as well as dual stage integrated in all of our products. When we touched on derating, this is a great offer from Solis, and all of our products are capable of limiting the output power as well as the output current. It's a practical solution when utilities are requiring inverters to be under a certain power rating. This is password protected. We can derate down to 10%, but we only recommend to not go below 30%. But it's password protected, again, managed by Solis Service. We would provide a new label and a letter of derating, as well as that means we can essentially customize any inverter to any site specification within our portfolio. So again, as we talked about, it's important to choose the right inverter for the job. Some things to watch out for, or when it comes to looking for a provider, you want to ensure lots of power class options so you have flexibility when it comes to a provider. High MPPT count and DC-AC ratio is one of to enhance flexibility. Built-in safety, monitoring, and grid support features are a must, as well as a proven track record of field reliability and dependability and third-party validation. Low startup voltages and wide operating ranges. We mentioned a lot of advantages of both of those features throughout the presentation. And then a global presence. How is their global footprint? So again, some things to ask your inverter partners or potential partners you're considering. How extendable is their warranty? What's their service and support model? Do they have a team in the United States that can actively go to a site if there's an issue that can't be resolved remotely? How do they handle firmware updates and diagnostics? How is this done? What's the process? Are there extra costs for monitoring platforms or rapid shutdown? Are they UL 3741 listed with anyone? How granular is their data? Is it string level or is it just system level? As well as, do they work well with third-party providers and third-party communications as well is a key for a lot of these questions. Key takeaways from an inverter perspective of what differentiates Solis and helping solve a lot of these challenges. Again, we talked about wide cable and infield string combining. It's helping improve conductor utilization within the array and eliminating combiner box inputs, so helping on BOS system costs and ultimately striving for more cost-effective systems. High input and short circuit current. Current support high-powered bifacial modules to eliminate clipping, but also ensure maximum capability. We have a low 500-volt DC startup voltage and wide tracking range, which ensures optimum yields, flexibility in design and string sizing. We talked about the high short circuit current rating per MPPT, allowing for that high DC to AC ratio. The advanced string level monitoring with remote IV curve tracing and firmware updates not only helps operations and maintenance and ensure ability to remotely trace and address issues if there's a problem at the site. We have direct MC4 connections in our product to simplify and secure installation, not only installation, but also O&M, as well as replacement of inverters. AFCI, anti-PID and PID recovery is crucial to mitigate module degradation and improve site safety, as well as our integrated multiple DC disconnects are great. In the event you have a ground fault, you can partially shut down the inverter and not the entire system. So you can still experience yield while you're on site resolving an issue. I think at this point, I'm going to kick it over to our partners at ESAS to kind of give you guys an overview about their team as well before we jump into the Q&A.
Thank you. Thanks, Tiffany, for your wonderful presentation there about how dependable and reliable Solis is in addressing the real challenges that different stakeholders in the industry are facing, such as ESCO, energy service companies or developers, EPCs, integrators, installers, right? So they have, and then long-term asset owners, they want to maximize the ROI. They want to make sure it's dependable. And the efforts that you're doing in spending design, maximizing the uptime and addressing the production diverse. You have a diverse portfolio of products, and overall maximizing the inverter production and addressing these real world challenges is very commendable. So thank you very much. And I would also like to encourage everybody to ask their questions in the chat as well. We are going to open up the floor in the Q&A session here so that you can also ask verbal, right? So I think at Energy Solutions and Supplies, we are a national wholesale distributor, and we want to differentiate ourselves by leading with the services. We want to partner with those stakeholders I mentioned earlier, ESCOs, developers, EPCs, integrators, installers, and really understand your challenges and business needs and be key to your success. You focus on growth and taking care of your core mission and the values, and we help by being an extension of your purchasing arm, and by being a long-term partner of yours. So I think there are some challenges, like Tiffany started with, a lot of uncertainty in the market, right? And it's supply chain disruption is happening, and there's no, and so I think the availability and consistency in the pricing, those are the two important. I'm not saying other things are not important. Those are the, one of the two, those are some of the important topics that we want to, challenges that we want to address as a Energy Solutions and Supplies by doing a long-term contract with you, where we guarantee the product availability and also guarantee the pricing, because we do partner with partners like Solis, and we do have a long-term contracts with them and on the purchasing side. And so we would like to do that, and that's one less thing for you all to worry about. So and here's our slide here. We want to solve your pains and needs through our services, which is ESAS logistics, where we do final mile deliveries. We do we have been able to successfully deliver in the remote locations with very special equipment requirement in terms of the final mile deliveries and job site deliveries. So we're pretty expert on that, and kind of like, what the solar industry is very volatile, and we all know it's a solar roller coaster. So we also want to we want to leverage the strategic supply. We want to leverage the strategic supply agreements and purchasing agreements, but at the same time, we also want to leverage the spot market, right? We want to get the best deal out there. And so we created, we have this service called ESAS Marketplace, where we also would like to help our partners finding their spot deals as well, which is relatively small percentage of our share, but that's something we can provide. And then also, we also want to provide, and talking about the professional services, we help Solis with, we help customers and partners with helping them along the way, providing if they need some design services or engineering services, permit plan set services on the commercial side, right? So we have that professional services where we help you with design and engineering and permit plan set preparation, and also even after the installation, we can also do QC and commissioning services as well. So that's another avenue we try to provide value to you all and help. And also, it's a new thing. Market is maturing, and there are lots of sites, gigawatts of sites there that are needing to be repowered and decommissioned. And so, as that market is growing, we also wanted to address that by helping EPCs and installers and long-term asset owners, all these stakeholders, trying to help them take care of these decommissioned panels from the old site. So we call it reclamation services, and that's what we do here. We help you. We go to your site, we manage the logistics, manage transportation, and we go there, we segregate the panels from completely damaged ones versus the usable one. And we do have a downstream channel partners in the market, like the Caribbean, South America, Latin America, where they can use these used solar panels. So we will go to the job site and basically do it all. We will segregate the bad panels, completely shattered panels versus the usable ones, and then we'll find one for the usable ones. So that's all. I think I don't want to bore you with our thing here, so we want to go into the Q&A. And one last thing I would like to say is, this is an attempt from Energy Solutions and Supplies to be very close to all of you all, so that we can have that customer intimacy. And that's one of our mission, that we value the relationships between the co-workers and also with the customers. So so in this attempt we're trying to be a trusted advisor and trying to bring in relevant content in the future. Please give us your feedback in terms of what other things would you like to hear from us, and what challenges you have. Any challenges regarding to, in solar panels, inverters, racking, any kind of mounting. So please do that. And I think we will put our email addresses here. If you have any questions for our sales team, it's sales@energysolutions-solar.com. And then if you have any questions for me directly, I can also put the email address there. But yeah, any feedback is welcome, so that we can keep on bringing in relevant contents in our upcoming campaigns and webinars and any sort of events.
Yeah, thank you, Lek. So for Q&A, thank you, Igor and Al, for your help in the Q&A. We had a question about that I thought was interesting, about obviously combating extreme temperatures, right? The moisture and dust exposure, can lead to corrosion. And so suggestions in minimizing these environmental factors. Obviously, we mentioned we do have shade covers that come with the product for the high heat and temperature. How about moisture and dust? Do you guys have any suggestions on minimizing these additional, we can minimize the sun, right, with the shade covers. How do we combat moisture and dust?
Well, part of the response was all our inverters are NEMA 4X. So if they are installed correctly, basically correctly meaning all the conduits are sealed that come into the inverter. If that's done properly that way, the moisture and dust is fairly minimized getting inside the inverter. Also during commissioning, it is recommended not to leave the covers open for long period of times, right? So there is at least one cover that need to be open to connect the AC wiring, and it's recommended, although it's a different compartment in most of our inverters, it is still recommended to keep it as short as possible, so humidity, dust, and so forth elements do not get inside the inverter. Sometimes I see in the past people leave it overnight open or things like that, or open bunch of them and then connect bunch of them. That's something people should try to just connect, open, close, and so forth, and seal. So the key is also to seal the conduits with a putty or some kind of other mechanism that could be sealing the conduits.
Yeah, those are helpful tips for sure. When it comes to zero export capability, which we have, do we also have the dynamic function piece of that?
Yeah, all inverters in the market that comply with the smart inverters requirements have the dynamic response. Typical response is less than 2 seconds, but it's also depend how fast is the power plant controller or how fast the commands get in to the inverter, but usually it's within 2 seconds response time to any power or reactive power commands.
Great, thank you. I think someone was asking if our commercial inverters support energy storage without major upgrades. I guess from a commercial inverter, existing ones, they can be AC coupled to a storage
Right.
system without major upgrades, right?
Yeah, it only supports AC coupled situation. So
Other than the
basically,
new hybrid, yeah.
right. We have a whole line of hybrid inverters that support solar and batteries, but those are hybrid inverters that you can connect both battery and PV to them, as well as a generator. So all of them support AC coupling, generator, PV, and a battery. But if you just take a regular grid tie inverter, it only can be connected AC coupled to a storage system.
There's a question from Stephen Joe. What is the insurance policy? Lek, would that be for you?
Is he meaning warranty?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm assuming just the warranty. So our products are 10-year standard warranty. And then we have extensions available for purchase up to 25 years.
I mean,
We can, yeah.
and if he's talking about certificate of insurance, when we supply products to customers, they ask for, it's just a part of the doing business with anybody. It's just the COI we provide to customers. But other than that, I can only think of warranty. So yeah, if it is something else, please let us know in the chat and then we can address that.
Thank you. We did have a question on, steps or actions, next steps for Solis in regards to the FIAC requirements. This is an evolving situation. Obviously, Treasury guidance is still being defined at this point in time. At least the threshold for projects that are viable for incentives is going to start at 40% for the solar incentive. They vary. SIA actually just came out with a really great FAQ document that includes, the thresholds and as they stage through the year. But, again, by the Treasury guidance, we are considered a FIAC, but however, when it comes to understanding the thresholds, very similar domestic content, right? Is, you still may be eligible for incentives on these projects. So it's best to consult, we've been suggesting, with a tax expert or legal expert to be able to not only interpret and understand Treasury guidance and help you manage these projects and their incentives, and then consider how they apply to projects and things like that.
Tiffany, there was one more question regarding hybrid storage.
Yeah. Let's see.
So Solis, we can AC couple now, of course. So if you have an AC coupled BESS, that's simple. And then
Yeah, I think we responded. We responded to
Okay.
this question now.
And I'm not sure we've already addressed. Phil is asking, can you elaborate on the on-site troubleshooting / O&M services available? Did we address that?
Yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so we have a ticket system where if you have a site issue, you can file a ticket and we have a first response to help you troubleshoot kind of via phone. If it's also connected to, if the site connected to Solis Cloud, we also can troubleshoot that remotely and pretty much solve most of the issues remotely. So we will be able to monitor the site, we'll be able to make setting changes, firmware updates, everything done remotely. If it's not connected to Solis Cloud, we can have it also as a troubleshooting or commissioning tool, provide you with Solis dongle where you can connect that dongle to either a LAN or a Wi-Fi line. And just as a troubleshooting mechanism or commissioning process, we can troubleshoot that again remotely. On-site, that's usually when there is we also provide on-site training. So if you have, for example, a site that you are first time installing, we can send it's a free of charge first time training on site. Troubleshooting on site, it will be basically at this point determined by the service team. If remote troubleshooting is not available or not possible, we'll send our service guys. We have service guys located throughout the country. So we'll send one of our service guys to the site and troubleshoot the issue on site itself. But I would say 95% of the issues or more could be solved remotely when we have full access to the site remotely.
I have a follow-up question on that, if you don't mind. So when you have a service guys, so let's say I'm a long-term asset owner, I own 1 megawatt of a solar, ground mount system at a site, and then so I now know from the monitoring that 2 inverters are failing. So can I deal with Solis directly as a long-term asset owners, or I have to go through a EPC? So how does it work? Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, if you own the site, so you can connect directly to our, again, it's a service ticketing system. We'll review if it's an RMA situation where if it's sometimes working, we need to determine that yes, the inverter is need to be RMA because there is no way to fix it either remotely or even locally. And then we'll issue an RMA for 1 or 2 or whatever number of inverters that determined to be not functional at this point. And that will then we'll issue the RMA and we'll get you new units, and you will send us the failed units back.
And the service guys will go and install it for you too, or they will be there on the triaging phase. So they will provide.
No, we would not be installing an RMA.
Okay. So then
we will just send it out, right? We would not be installing the RMA.
So they will be going there in a triaging phase, just to triage and troubleshoot and find if there is.
Right. They can troubleshoot. They can help you install or guide you how to install, but somebody needs to be on site from the owner too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. I was going to say, I think we got all the questions. Last call for questions. If anyone has any, really, chat or Q&A, I'm kind of checking both.
And we do need to figure out a way to select 2 lucky attendees, and we're going to be sending them a Amazon gift card. I think Rubin, our phenomenal marketing expert at ESAS, has organized it, and so I think he will send an email out here soon. I think that's the plan. So.
Yeah, thank you. So we have around 146 participants. And what we are going to do is we are going to select 2 lucky attendees who are going to win the $50 Amazon gift card. So as time is running short, what we will do is we will be doing the live giveaway, but we are unfortunately not able to do so right now because we have to compile all the list of the attendees. So there are a lot of attendees who joined later on in our webinar as it was on progress. So, but we will have it posted soon via our social media and also in our follow-up email announcement.
Perfect.
Great. Well, thank you, Energy Solutions, for having Solis. We really enjoyed being here. And if you guys have questions, again, you want to follow up with any one of us, we have our contact information in the chat. So please feel free to reach out, connect on LinkedIn, get a hold of us. Even if you just want me to send you a copy of a data sheet, like happy to support.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.